You are tuned into MGIS News. I'm your host, Zion Dickerson, and today the topic is artificial intelligence. When you don't have an answer to a question, what is your first resource? Google? Or Siri maybe? Or what about when you're on Netflix or YouTube? Do you just pick what is suggested to you? Little do you know, these are all forms of artificial intelligence. But what exactly is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, better known as AI, is a computer-based system that has the ability to perform tasks that would normally require human intelligence. AI is growing at exponential rates. With the introduction of new technology that can essentially do many tasks for us, will we become too dependent on it? In this video, we will disclose the timeline of AI, how its usage has increased, and where we might be going with this. But first, let's check out how artificial intelligence was introduced. I'll give the floor to our co-host, Hallis, who will explain in detail the timeline of AI.
Hello, fellow viewers. Today I will be sharing some information about how humankind have become dependent on AI.
Okay, so let's talk about the timeline of AI. It all started back in 1955 when two men named Alan Newell and Herbert Simon created a program called the logic theory. It was a computer program engineered to mimic the problem-solving skills of human beings. It is referred to as the first artificial intelligence program, but didn't carry the name artificial intelligence until the following summer of 1956. The name in conference. Artificial intelligence was the name given by John McCarthy at the historic conference, Dartmouth's Summer Research Project on the Artificial Intelligence, or DSRPAI, hosted by John McCarthy and Marvin Minsky in 1956. The purpose was to draw the talent and expertise of others interested in machine intelligence for a month of brainstorming, but there was a failure to agree on the standard methods for the field. Nonetheless, every attendee held the conviction that AI was achievable. This historic event mobilized the next 20 years of AI research. From 1957 to 1974, AI flourished. AI flourishes. The Nobel program called the General Problem Solver was developed by Newell and Simon in 1957. More and more research were made at the Carnegie Mellon University and MIT, all just towards the advancement of AI. At that moment, we see the first tendency towards dependency on AI. In 1963, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, funded AI research at several institutions. It wants to have machines intelligent enough to transcribe and translate spoken language, as well as have a high throughput data processing. Sorry to interrupt, but it's time for a joke. Ha ha ha! And back to you. In 1966, Joseph Weizenbaum's ELIZA, a natural language processing computer, showed promise towards the goals of problem solving and the interpretation of spoken language respectively. This invention, along with many others, increased DARPA and many scientists' optimism and expectations of AI. By the year 1974, scientists' optimism set the expectations too high. Marvin Minsky told Life magazine, "From 3 to 8 years we will have machines with the general intelligence of an average human being." These were nearly impossible to meet as they anticipated in a short period of time. DARPA, the British government, and others redrew almost all of their fundings due to lack of progress. There was too much critiques, and the AI researchers did not anticipate the problems. Booming spring for AI. In 1980, Edward Feigenbaum introduces expert systems which answers questions or solves problems about a specific domain of knowledge. In 1982, Japanese government extensively funded AI research for a fifth Gerberation computer project. In 1986, the first autonomous car, NavLab, was built at the Carnegie Mellon University. By the late 1980s and beginning 1990s, the expert systems were too expensive and brittle. They were difficult to update, and they were only useful in specific contexts. Scientists wanted to give body to AI, hence create robots. Government agencies and investors felt as if AI was collapsing again, yet AI itself made an advancement despite the criticism. 1993 to 2001, AI achieves early goals. With the advancement in research, AI could achieve many of its early goals. In 1997, Deep Blue became the first computer to beat the world's chess champion at a chess game using AI. By 2000, AI was used to solve problems at technologies industries such as baking software or speech recognition. AI was really not credited at the time, but it made progress and slowly shifted from labs to industries to the general society. Today, after more than a century, there was access to faster computers and to advanced machine learning. In 2000, there was the introduction of Pandora. In 2011, Siri and DeepMind, an AI company, were introduced and founded. In 2016, Google Assistant was introduced, and Alpha AI military drones for unarmed aerial vehicles was developed. In 2017, Cortana initiated in Android and iOS. This is the first of the inventions of AI. AI is used today by the general society and not by just scientists. The future, AI is set to develop even more, to come as everyday appliances such as blenders or throughout your household. AI is set to improve elder care. It is also set to come in forms of robotics to become salespersons or house assistants, and it is set to improve hospital diagnoses and to help with banking. That's just to name a few of the future aspects that AI might have. And that is the timeline of AI.
So what do you think how the future will look like with the dependency of AI? It looks like we will have to find out over time. We will have to see how the technology improvement will affect humankind's habits. That's all for today on the timeline of AI. And back
With the introduction, integration, and increase in the use of AI to perform essentially many tasks for humans, our people, especially the American society, becoming too reliant or dependent on this newly discovered area that may have many effects we are yet to know.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's time for a joke. Ha ha ha, and back to you.
Alice and Andrea have interviewed Professor Yang, who has some input on this theory of AI. He'll inform us of what we need to know and what is the purpose of the reliance on AI. So, what are the appeals of AI? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And most importantly, what are the dangers? Also, are people becoming too dependent on AI? Well, Professor Yang has a lot to tell us. Stay tuned.
Today we're interviewing Professor Yang.
Dr. Yang is the head of department of the computer engineering in RIT. So we are going to interview him on are people becoming dependent on AI. So it's nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
So first, we want to thank you for the opportunity of giving us a brief interview. My first question is, what do you think is the appeal of AI?
Appeal.
Yes.
First thing that comes to my mind is that people perceive this as smart, right? You have something smarter that can do things for you, make our life more convenient, quicker, more efficient. People know, the machine will know what I want, what I need. Even Google search in a way, right? It's smarter. So I think.
What do you think are the dangers of AI?
Well, I think there are many. How secure it is for the artificial intelligence development, algorithm design, system design, and a lot of this AI has to do with software. Because in software, there's a chance of people to hack, to make changes, to manipulate, right?
Yeah.
And the other part I would say is a lot of these smaller things, because it requires data, it requires connectivity. For your generation, probably it's very easy to assume you have Wi-Fi, you have 3G, 4G, whatever it is. But think about the hurricane just happened. No electricity, no network, nothing, right? If you're so dependent on the smarter things. Now, well, you don't have electricity, you don't have any diesel, no gas, nothing, no connectivity, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
Right? So there's another part of that we may lose some ability or to cope. While we talk about negative impact of AI, there's also positive impact of AI, right? So in a hurricane disaster situation, there are systems, smarter systems we can deploy to help things recover faster. If you have a drone, fly there autonomously without people driving over there to scout the area. And things like that, smarter things that can really recognize and make decisions on the fly and less expensive and use less power or so on and so forth. It can also help. So it's not only the negative impact, it's also the positive impact they can bring. It's just that we, as the consumer of the AI systems, I think that we make wise decisions.
And I was actually thinking about the dependency of AI.
Uh-huh.
Do you think people are becoming dependent on AI, or would they be more dependent in the future too, of course?
So for me, people are not dependent on AI.
Yes.
People are dependent on smart things,
Yes.
smarter things. AI and smarter things are slightly different, in my opinion.
Yes.
So we depend on smartphones. They are pretty smart. They know what we want. They look at data. They analyze.
So, what do you consider to be AI?
I mean, for me, and again, in academia, you ask different people. A lot of people give you different definitions. For me, it's really it's intelligence that can evolve. Current, a lot of so-called AI systems, smarter systems, they take on data. They use data to kind of replay again and again to learn how to deal with a situation, what situation means what. But to me, AI, artificial intelligence, really says something can evolve. You can pick things you want to learn, or even if you have seen it, you have not seen it. You will be able to kind of stipulate, simulate, imagine creatively, kind of think what might happen. So I think that those elements were not there yet.
Okay, thank you. I think that was all we had. Thank you very much.
Thank you
sir.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Yang.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yang, for your time. By defining AI as smart technologies, we are able to look at how it is impacting us in the current times as well look at the future. But also as defining AI as smart technologies, are we misinterpreting what exactly AI is? We have heard Professor Yang's comments on AI. Now we'll look at what other experts have to say about the dependency of AI. After research, we have collected some articles which will be presented by Camille. These articles will give us some statistics of society interaction with AI. I'll be back soon.
Hi,
Stay tuned.
my name is Camille Rosenfeld, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the statistics of AI. You might be thinking, what exactly is AI? Smart technologies AI? What's the difference? How can we determine what it actually is? Well, zdnet.com gives a really good article describing what exactly AI is. They say, AI spans the breadth of our activities. From business to leisure, we interact with AI when we use an app to turn on a light bulb, talk to Google Home or Amazon Alexa, or even just write a better email using suggestions. Google, IBM, Yahoo, Apple, Salesforce, and Intel have all been acquiring startups. Even Twitter, eBay, and Microsoft are racing to acquire the top players in AI. ZDNet did a survey, and 37% of respondents said that they have used an AI tool. However, of the respondents who said that they have not used AI, 63% were actually using it. They were just not aware that what they were using qualifies. 74% of respondents have used voice search in the past month. They have noticed that the responses from Siri, Cortana, Home, and Alexa have improved. Daily use of voice search is up by 27% compared to last year. AI is increasingly getting better and better at being able to tell what the users are going to say and how to react. People are very comfortable asking questions out loud to voice assistants. 84% of respondents said that they were comfortable using it at home. 47% of respondents said that they were open to buying items through a chatbot. According to socialmediaweek.org, by 2020, 85% of customer interactions will be managed without a human. That's pretty crazy if you think about it. In the immediate future, executives are looking for AI to replace the people who are doing the repetitive or menial tasks, such as paperwork, scheduling, and timesheets, things like that are taking up people's time when they can be doing much more valuable things. Market estimates project that global AI revenue will reach $36.8 billion by 2025, which is a significant increase over this year's $843.7 million mark. That's from eMarketer. Voice recognition and response solutions are the most widely used AI technologies. according to business executives, with 32% of those surveyed saying their organizations have already employed such solutions. Machine learning is the second most widely used technology among enterprise organizations at 24%, followed by virtual personal assistants at 15%. IT decision makers consider cloud-based software and applications to be their top technologies in which to invest at 59%. Meanwhile, AI sits at 43%. Changing market conditions and the growth of AI could affect these numbers in the future. To gather some primary research, we conducted a survey of 80 people. Here are some of the questions we asked them. We asked when people don't have the answer to a question, what's their first resource? Most people said Google. We also asked how much people know about AI. Only 12.8% said a lot. We also asked how many hours a day do people use Netflix, Pandora, or YouTube. Most people said in between 2 to 5 hours. Then we asked when people are using those things, do they just search for stuff or use what's suggested to them? Most people said both. When we asked, do you think people are dependent on AI? Most people said maybe. And then when we asked, do you think people will be more dependent on AI in the future? 80.8% said yes. We had a free response question about the appeal of AI. Some of the key answers were makes things easier, convenience, don't have to think for ourselves, easy and everywhere. We had another free response question about the dangers of AI, and some of the key answers were you're lazy comes at a price of privacy, we become dependent, possible job loss, creates bad work ethic for research and studying. AI will drive 95% of all customer interactions by 2025, with consumers unable to differentiate bots from human workers via online chats and over the phone. 75% of developer teams will use AI technologies in one or more of their business applications or services by 2018. Sorry to interrupt, but it's time for a joke. But this next joke actually needs a little explaining. An AI machine actually made up this joke as a result of learning from cow-related jokes. Ha ha ha! And back to you. In the Gartner Top 10 Strategic Technology Trends for 2017, they define AI and machine learning as composed of many technologies and techniques, such as deep learning, neural networks, and natural language processing, or NLP. The more advanced techniques move beyond traditional rule-based algorithms to create systems that appear to understand, learn, predict, adapt, and potentially operate with little or no human input or guidance. This is what makes smart machines appear intelligent. Applied AI and machine learning enable a system to not only understand concepts of the environment, but also to learn.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to MGIS News. I'm your host, Zion Dickerson, and I'll see you soon.